Hi, and thanks for coming to the party. I wanted to share with you a bit about why I became an Usborne Books More representative. It started in 2014. We were living at that time in Sterling, Virginia, and my husband was commuting every week to New Jersey. Obviously, that wasn't working. So we decided to start fresh by moving to Colorado Springs, Colorado, where my husband had accepted a position with the United States Olympic Committee. Before we left the East Coast, we wanted to visit some family, so we drove up to New Hampshire, where we visited his best friend and his mother. And then he flew directly to Colorado Springs to start his new job, leaving me alone with 2 little kids. At that time, our son Alexander was only 5, and we had our granddaughter with us as well, and she was 2. There I was, stuck with 2 little kids, committed to drive across the country. So we decided to have a lot of fun. We would stop at as many interesting and fun places as we could. Things like the Hershey Chocolate Factory and the Crayola Factory, as well as some historical things like Gettysburg, and as many as the Smithsonian's as we could fit into the trip. We weren't made of money, so instead of buying a bunch of little trinkets or a trinket per kid, we decided that at our favorite places we would get a book. So at the Air and Space Smithsonian Museum, we picked up the Usborne Look Inside Space book. I didn't know Usborne at that time. I just found a really cool book that both of the kids liked, that both wanted to play with and look at. Believe it or not, this is one of the first books on our trip. It has 2 flaps. Both of the kids loved it. It was fought over, it was thrown to the floor, it was stepped on. It's been in beaches, in deserts, and all kinds of different conditions, and the book still looks like new. Again, I hadn't heard of Usborne Books, so as we continued our journey, I wasn't looking for the publisher. At some point, we decided to make this into a grandmother adventure and go visit all of the grandmothers who hadn't had a chance to see Abby or Xander in a long time. So we decided to go all the way across the country and visit my mom in Central California. On the way, we stopped at places like the Ohio Caverns, and in Vernal, Utah, we stopped at Dinosaur Lands, and the kids picked out The Sea Inside the World of Dinosaurs. Again, this is a book that both kids played with, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, fighting over in the back of the van. I couldn't reach them. They were 4 feet behind me with the way our van is constructed. And yet, the book has survived being thrown on the floor, stepped on, fought over. There was food, they had their drinks, and it still looks like new. I still didn't click that they were both Usborne books. In Monterey, California, we went to go see the beautiful Monterey Bay Aquarium, and the kids again picked a book that was interactive and fun. And and look, there's my little guy now. This is Xander. Thank you, Xander.
It's my favorite page.
Okay, obviously a lot of fun. He's a scientist now that he's a big 7, and that's his favorite book right now is Usborne's 365 Days of Science Activities. If you saw the book, you noticed there were lots of little tabs where we've checked out the experiments that we want to make sure to do. But back to our story. So in Monterey, the kids picked out the Sea Under the Sea book. Lots of interesting flaps for them to open and look at, and it didn't matter that they didn't know how to read. The important part was finding a book that kept both of them entertained and occupied for the hours across our journey. We got a bunch more books and finally got back to Colorado Springs. I was invited to an online Usborne book party just like the one you're watching right now. And at the time, the hostess was putting out all these videos of these different books. And I thought, oh my gosh, I have that book. Oh, I have that book. And she kept showing these videos, and it turns out that over 80% of the books that we bought on that trip were Usborne books. Well, I knew instantly I had to become an Usborne Books More representative. So that's my story. Hopefully you enjoy the party and Usborne books have as big of an impact on your family as they did on ours. Thank you.